Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Low Carb Cocktails. As you can see, this is not my home bar. I'm at like a real bar. I'm at Sugarfield Spirits in Gonzales, Louisiana. So I thought I'd take a minute to show you guys my favorite distillery. Again, local distilleries are always my favorite, but this is my favorite local distillery, and really my favorite distillery at all, just because of the immense lineup you have, and that you do produce a lot of liqueurs that are low carb. We'll get to that in a minute, but I kind of want to introduce, here, this is Andrew, and he's one of the owners here, and he's going to kind of tell you a little bit about his brand, Sugarfield's, kind of the inception of it, and where you plan on going from here.
Sure, yeah. We opened last year, so we opened in January of 2020, and we've been open for a little over a year now. We picked a great year to go ahead and open up. So it's been a big struggle, but at the same time, we love challenges, and in the time we've been quite busy. As you can see, we have
for a year,
ton of products.
For only been open a year, you have, and you got some more products that you don't even have here that you've run out of.
Yeah, we've ran out of several. I mean, we're on batch 6 of our bourbon. Strawberry's not up here. Peach is not up here. Strawberries in the back. We're making that right now. Peach season's coming right along. I've got another couple that like our Loquat Liqueur. I don't think we're getting Loquats this year. I think the frost killed all the Loquats, so we're not going to get that one back this year. We'll get that one again next year. But I mean, we still have a lot of really good products.
You have a ton of good products. A ton of good products. So let's kind of go over some of the products you have.
Sure. So I always like to start with our vodka. Our vodka's made from 100% sugar. Get all of our sugar from Lula Sugar Refinery, which is in Belrose, and we literally drive down there and pick up.
Right. So again, all your local distillery using locally sourced ingredients from local farmers. You can't get any more local than local.
Right. And we're also working on that relationship with the sugar refinery. You know, when you're making rum and vodka and things from sugarcane, you want to know where it comes from.
Yeah.
And that's part of the fun and part of what we really like to do here. You know, there's tons of vodkas out on the market, and a good vodka is it's fairly difficult to make. People think that making good vodka is easy. You just throw it in a pot and
cook it and still it. No.
You can make vodka that way.
Yeah.
But making good vodka, having a little bit of essence of flavor in there, having the smoothness, the mouthfeel. We look at a lot of different things when we're making our vodka, and now all of that being said, vodka is kind of easy because what you're going for is little to no flavor.
Right.
You want just an essence of something.
Right. You just like something that's like. I'm not going to say any, but some national brands, they just taste like either rubbing alcohol or gasoline, and that's all that it is.
Yep.
Or some of them have no profile whatsoever.
Right.
And but again, when I find these local craft vodkas that you guys, especially you guys make, it has that little nuance, something else. The best way to explain it is it brings a print to your party.
Yeah.
When you're making cocktails with it.
That's good. Yeah. And with this, like with the vodkas, you know. Every spirit has like a checklist you have to check off. There are certain cocktails that it has to work in. If you have a vodka that doesn't work in a martini, you got to start over. If it doesn't work with tonic water, if it doesn't work with soda water, and so like when we were making this, you know, I have the job of going through all the cocktails and making sure it's good across.
So your job is drinking cocktails for a living.
That's what I do, man.
I want that job. I want that job.
Yeah, but it's also going back and giving feedback to the people that are distilling it, it's my brother, and you know, letting him know that, you know, this needs to change. We've got to do a little bit of this, or
tweaking it.
Just kind of tweak it a little bit, and we really happy with it. We have a lot of consistency with our vodka now. Some of our other products we don't have consistency with, and we're not going to have consistency with it. The gin, the vodka, the white rum, we'll be pretty consistent with those.
And I've had, I don't know, 4 or 5 bottles of your rum, being consistent the whole time. Your gin is amazing, I'll say that. But I'm assuming just like liqueurs, it's kind of hard to be consistent when you're doing infusions and things like that.
Right.
It's just how much flavor you can get out of that orange peel.
Well, the thing about it is every year the oranges are going to be different.
Yeah.
So when the oranges are different, that batch of orange is going to be completely different than the year before.
Right.
And like our strawberries, I think our strawberry this year is going to have a little bit more of a punch to it, if you can believe that. Last year was awesome. We were over the moon with last year. But this year, like, our goal is always to outdo what we previously have done.
Awesome.
So far, I think we've done that. Particularly, like, our bourbon's a great example of that. We're on batch 6 of the bourbons, and each one of the bourbon batches has become my favorite.
Yeah, I've had 1 and 2 and 3. Those are the ones I've had. I've not had anything past 3.
All right.
But man, you're right. Your consistency and your batches and the profiles are getting better each time.
Yep. So I guess next is our white rum. I've already mentioned our white rum. White rum is 90% sugar, 10% molasses. Sugar and molasses also come from Belrose, Lula Sugar Refinery. So yeah, our white rum is a Cuban style of rum, and what that means is the Cuban style of rum is a very clean style.
Yeah.
And we run it through our column distiller, our column still when we're making it, and super clean. And again, the checklist for rums are daiquiris, mojitos, Cuba Libres, and this one definitely checks all those.
And my
boxes.
rum diddly-umptious.
Rum diddly-umptious.
That's
I'll have to add that to the checklist.
Add that to your checklist. It's perfect in that.
Yeah.
But it's great. So if they're doing like something, I know a lot of tiki recipes call for specific types of rums.
Right.
So if anything calls for a Cuban rum, your rum would fit in it perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or any other rum for that matter.
This is your Swiss Army rum. Like, it's the rum that you can use, and if you have a recipe that calls for rum, and it's not asking for, like a spice rum or a dark rum or an aged rum.
Just any light rum.
Any light rum.
And I say it has for me. It has for me
Yeah.
several times over.
Yeah.
So now you got your spice rum. This is new.
Yeah, the spice rum's new. We worked with Red Six Spice Company on this. They're a local spice company here in Baton Rouge, and we're actually in Gonzales. It's in Baton Rouge, about 20 minutes from here.
Next city.
Yeah. And great people over there. Anne is the owner, and Alana is the manager there. She's amazing. Worked with them and on like what spices we should use, and then they hooked us up with some great options for spices, and then they actually helped us with the tasting of it too. We went to them with some options, and I guess everything aligned because our favorite was their favorite too.
Oh, nice.
And both the spice rum and the gin, we did the same thing with the gin, and I've also got some great ideas for some future gins that we're going to do. We're going to do some future like seasonal gins.
Nice.
And we're gonna work with some really cool spices with those, and make some really amazing stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I say you got your bourbon. So you're on batch number 6 with your bourbon.
Batch number 6 of the bourbon. It's a blend of 10 different barrels. It's the 2 mash bills on this are 75-21-4, so that's 75 corn, 21 rye, 4% corn, and then it's a 60% corn, 36% rye, and 4% malted barley.
Okay, so a little more rye on that.
Yeah, a little more rye. It's a high and a low rye. And so this batch is a little spicier. It's
That's
also
because of that rye content.
Yeah, a little more rye is going to give it a little more spice, and it's also proofed a little higher.
Okay.
So it's at 100.3. Previous batch was at 97 proof.
Okay.
We did it at 103. As we're proofing stuff down, we're making a lot of work goes into blending bourbons, and while we're doing it, the proofing part is vital because the difference between a spirit at 100.3 proof and 97 proof is
that's a huge difference.
A huge difference, and it can change the flavor profile, the mouthfeel.
Oh, it absolutely will. It's because you're going to lose a lower proof, like an 80 proof bourbon.
Yep.
You're going to lose that really fast, and especially in cocktails. You might get a little notes picked up, but you're losing the bourbon in general.
Yeah, you're losing the punch.
Right. So so the higher proof bourbon, and especially if you're doing like neat on or just on rocks or just with a little bit of water in it, you want that higher proof to counteract the water, the dilution.
Yeah, for sure. Of all these spirits, I've had my hand in all of them. I've worked with me and my brother have worked on them together. But the gin is one that I did all by myself. Like I did all the R&D, research and development for this. That's a nice way of saying I went out and drank a
lot of gin.
And, but I also went to a lot of distilleries and talked to a lot of distillers about how they do their gin. I tried to find enough, issues that they had so I didn't repeat those issues. And really happy with how my gin turned out.
I second the motion. It is the perfect balance in between a London Dry and a New Age style gin. It's the perfect balance right in the middle.
Yep.
So it's not overly botanical, and I think that tends to steer people away from gin.
Right.
It's because that Beefeater and that Tanqueray, so just as national brands, for my profile, they're very, very juniper, super juniper heavy.
Yep.
Whereas for me, it's unpalatable. Palatable. But I think in some more of the American style gins, New Age gins are really so light that you lose it in a cocktail.
Yeah.
And I think this is the perfect balance where I can drink this neat. And it's not overpowering, but there's enough flavor that when I mix it with other ingredients, it still stands out on its own.
Right. Yeah, and that's what we're looking for. Like in a lot of our spirits, we're not, particularly like anything spiced or anything flavored, balance is key. You want to have a nice balance in there so that, you can drink it neat, or it can be used in cocktails, or, there's some spirits that just, like some flavors, like I'll get into those later, but they don't flow through as well. And the reason for that is it's just like any fruit. Some fruits have more potency to them, and other fruits don't. I think the next 5 are all liqueurs.
Right.
So I'll talk about our liqueurs.
And it's kind of real quick. The liqueurs is, I know your liqueurs are pretty low carb, some lower than others. For me, I think I drink all of them in the right mix, because I think all of them will have less than 5 grams of carbs per serving in general. Yep. So if I'm going to do like your coffee and cream, I would do just vodka. Then I'm good with staying under my 5 grams of carbs per serving, and everything else aboard. So that's one thing I know. That wasn't going low carb wasn't your intention, but your intention was to.
Yep. So our intention with liqueurs is, as a bartender, as a mixologist, it's the only way to lower a sugar content in a drink is to water it down. So you can add less flavor to it. So our goal in all of our liqueurs is keep the sugar as low as possible and the flavor as high as possible.
Y'all really nail that.
Yeah. So the coffee and the coffee cream are probably the 2 best examples of this. They're both delicious, and they're both great neat. They both work great in cocktails. The whole thing with the coffee is we work with Rev Coffee, which is a local coffee roaster out of Lafayette, and they do a special blend of coffee for us. It's a Brazilian Java blend, and then they dark roast it for us.
Okay.
We bring it here, and we cold brew it here, and then we added our white rum to it. So this is a rum-based cocktail.
All right, awesome. That's again, anything any recipe that calls for a coffee liqueur, and they want to kind of cut the sugars down, and grab your coffee liqueur.
Boom.
Yeah, because most national brands are looking at 13 to 20 grams of carbs or sugar in a serving, and yours is a fraction of that.
Right. Yeah, we try to keep that sugar, again, the sugar as low as possible with, just balancing that.
Right, you still want a little bit of sweetness on it, and I think y'all do a great job with all of your liqueurs. That's kind of one of the things that kind of steered me over here is when I found out y'all were doing liqueurs, and I was talking to you guys about it a year ago. I'm like, let me try. So I started with your orange. I've been through, I don't know, in the last year, 3 bottles of your orange. Yeah. I'm on bottle number 2 of the peach, which you're out of. Yeah.
And I think you got the last bottle.
I got the last bottle of peach last time I was here, with the lucky label.
Yeah, lucky label. Yeah.
So you have your kumquat also.
Yep. So these 3, we have another one too. We haven't actually released it yet. It'll be out in a couple of weeks. It's a lemon liqueur. It's really awesome as well. But we did a lot with the citrus this year. One thing that people really don't realize in Louisiana is the amount of citrus that we have here. And the Satsuma, for example, anybody that lives in Louisiana knows Satsuma season. Satsuma season is everybody knows somebody that has a Satsuma tree.
If you don't have one yourself.
If you don't have one in your backyard, your neighbor's got one, and
Right.
they're bringing bags of them over, and we love that. And we wanted to kind of put that in a bottle so that we can have Satsuma season.
So
year-round.
you can put Satsuma in a bag
Yeah,
and bring
there
it
you
to
go.
your neighbor.
There you go. Yeah, and kumquats are a spirit. We worked on it really hard last year, and we got it to the good level. And we don't put stuff in bottle at the good level here. If it's not great, if it's not exceptional, we
Now,
don't.
I've
we just don't
never
do
seen
it.
a kumquat liqueur outside of you guys, ever.
I haven't either. I really.
That's something
like,
that's really unique
yeah.
to your brand.
Yeah, I love kumquats. Kumquats are a fruit that I, read about as a kid. I'd heard about before, but I never knew what a kumquat was.
Yeah.
Like you could have put me in a room with 10 fruits, and I would have been like,
I don't know.
me. Yeah. But when I did start finally, when I was introduced to this fruit, I mean, it's great. You just pop it in your mouth. It's great. It's sour and it's bitter and it's sweet all at the same time.
My grandma had a little
Yeah.
kumquat tree in her backyard when I was growing up.
And I really, really dig kumquat. Yeah, so this is our kumquat liqueur. It's brandy based, very similar to the orange liqueur. Really happy with the way this turned out. Our orange liqueur, this is still, we have, I think I have one more case of orange liqueur from last year. So all of these oranges came from Napoleonville.
Okay.
This year, our oranges came from just south of New Orleans. And it's going to be a slightly different orange this year than it was last
So I know
year.
last time was it 5 or 7 different types of oranges?
It was 3 different
It was
types
3
of
different.
oranges.
I knew it was more than one.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it was an odd number. And,
Yeah. No. It was it's sweet Louisiana oranges.
Okay.
So very local orange, and then blood oranges, which we love around here, and then navel oranges, which are we last year we got all of the oranges from the same orchard, and it was a really, really cool way to do it. Just a farmer that was like, take them if you want them, and we were like, all right, we'll take them, man. We'll take them.
That's kind of why I think your orange liqueur tastes better than mine, is because I only use navel.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think those other oranges blended into it it's a whole new world of orange liqueur.
Yeah, and again this year, like it's slightly different, just because every year, I mean, the fruit's going to be
Your fruit's going to be different from year to year to year.
And we love that. We celebrate that here. And there's in the wine world, they call it the terroir, which is it's French for earth, and it's where we get territory. Territoire. And terroir, it talks about, in the wine world, it speaks of that year's rain, that year's sunshine, that year's.
That's why like some year wines are better than another year's wines. And
Exactly, yeah.
So it's just because that crop will, from year to year, depending on the weather, the climate, it's a natural ingredient. So you can't have something, and that's what I like about it, because a lot of liqueurs use artificial flavoring, artificial ingredients to keep that consistent flavor.
Right.
But nothing's natural in it.
Right.
And that's what I like about you guys. You're using natural stuff. This batch might not be the exact same flavor profile as the last batch, but there's a reason for that, because you're using natural ingredients.
Right. And we're also working with local farmers. That's something that's really important to us here. There's a reason we do it too. Most of the time, you're getting the best ingredients from within
the source.
a couple of miles.
From the source.
Oh, yeah. Go to the source, and I mean, we've met farmers from farmers markets, at just friends of friends, just people that have come in and told us, hey, my dad is a cane farmer, you should try his cane. And yeah, we'd love to.
Yeah.
And that's something that we have coming out too, is this year's batch of agricole.
My favorite thing y'all produce. It's not up here. We didn't mention it. It's not up here.
No. So the agricole isn't even on the table. So
no, that's my favorite thing.
The whole other thing that we do, speaking of French things, is we go to the field and hand cut cane and bring it back here, juice it here. So when we're talking about going to the source, that's I think that's our best example of going to the source. We literally go to the source, go to the cane field, harvest
your own cane, and bring it back and produce an amazing rum. Amazing rum.
Yeah, and this year it's we got it from this huge field, and the parish line went right down the middle of the field. So half of the cane is from Assumption Parish, half of the cane is from Ascension Parish.
Okay.
So we're doing when we do the release, it's going to be Ascension release.
That's kind of neat. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
It's the same cane from 2 different areas of the field, and everything else is the same. We use the same yeast. We use the same methods of distillation on them, and there they are.
Nice. That's cool. I like that.
Very interesting.
That is. All right. So well, we're going to be making some cocktails. So guys, we're going over the menu as we're talking about it. The menu here is there's several things that you can get that's low carb. And so the next video you're going to see is we're going to be going over the menu, showing you some of the items. You can just walk in there and say, I want that. Can you make it low carb? And they'll do that for you. So we'll be right back in a minute. We're going to see it set up for some cocktails, and we'll see you in a minute.